Elias, Nia, and the Midnight Makers, based on The Elves and the Shoemaker by the Brothers Grimm.
Elias and Nia had made shoes for the neighborhood for 50 years. But times were changing, and their hands were growing stiff. On this cold evening, Elias placed the very last piece of leather on his workbench. "It is enough for one pair, Nia," he said softly. "Just one pair of sturdy boots. I will cut them out tonight and stitch them in the morning."
The next morning, Elias went to his bench ready to work, but he gasped. The leather was gone. In its place stood two perfectly crafted boots. The stitching was tiny and precise, unlike anything he had ever seen. "Nia, come look," he called out. "It's a miracle." Just then, the shop bell rang. It was young Maya, who needed a special brace for her leg. She tried on the boots. They fit perfectly. "They are so comfortable," she beamed. She paid more than the usual price, enough for Elias to buy leather for 2 more pairs. This continued for weeks. Elias would cut the leather at night, and by morning the shoes were finished. Boots for the mail carrier, slippers for the librarian, dancing shoes for the teacher. The shop was bustling again. Elias and Nia were no longer poor, but they remained as kind as ever.
One evening, shortly before the holidays, Nia took Elias's hand. "Elias," she said, "we must know who is helping us. We cannot just take these gifts without knowing who to thank." So, instead of going to bed, they lit a small candle and hid behind the tall cupboard to watch.
At the stroke of midnight, in tumbled 2 tiny figures. Zola with wings like a dragonfly, and Kip wearing a faded green hat. They hopped onto the bench and began to stitch, sew, and hammer with incredible speed. But Elias noticed something. "Look, Nia," he whispered. "Their clothes are tattered. They are freezing." Nia's heart melted. "They have made us rich, yet they have nothing," she said. "I will sew them little shirts and coats and knit them tiny stockings. You, Elias, make them each a pair of little shoes." They worked all day, pouring their love into every stitch. That night, instead of leather, they laid out their gifts. Then they hid again. Midnight struck. Zola and Kip bounded in, ready to work. But when they saw the tiny clothes, they stopped. They squealed with delight. They put on the jackets and the shoes, dancing a jig on the table. They sang, "We are fancy, we are fine, no more working for us this time." They danced right out the window and into the moonlight. Elias and Nia never saw them again. But the luck they brought remained, for kindness always leaves a mark. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe.